How are Christ followers in Israel, who themselves have fled conflict, responding to the needs of the people impacted by the Israeli-Hamas war? We're focusing on the helpers today through stories from the Slavic Gospel Association as we welcome SGA President Michael Johnson. And good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
It is a pleasure to have you with us this morning. I wish we had the ability to talk about subjects that were a little more lighthearted and fun, but it is important for us to examine and look at some of the things that are happening in our world and really look to see how we can help. Thank you for being on this morning. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on and what your organization is doing.
Our ministry, the Slavic Gospel Association, was founded in 1934 by Peter Danica. And in the 40s, the ministry and Peter developed a real heart for Russian Jews, both living in the Soviet Union as well as in Israel. And so we established a ministry in Israel back in the 40s when it was known as Palestine, and of theological training and church planting. So we have a long history in Israel. For the last 15 years, we've further ramped up our activities where we're in partnership with the Israel College of the Bible. We're training Russian Jewish believers for ministry, church planting, and teaching and pastoring. So we have a large network of Christians that were connected to, Russian Christians that were connected to in Israel. And it's estimated that almost a third of the population of Israel is either Russian or of Russian descent. And we estimate that there's over 30,000 Russian believers who are citizens of Israel. And so this is a large group of people, and God is really working through those churches and those network of churches. So when the war between Ukraine and Russia broke out, I was in Israel traveling with the church planters and the pastors up and down the country. And they were already seeing a large influx of refugees coming into Israel from Ukraine. And so I asked them how they responded to it, and they said, typically they'll connect with these people as they're coming into the countries. They would help them find places to live, help them find jobs, help them to get situated, and build relationships with them and invite them to church. And many of those people have come to faith in Christ and are being discipled in these Slavic churches in Israel. So when the current war broke out, because of our connection to those churches and the network of believers there, we were able to transfer funds so that they could purchase food locally and minister to these immigrants who really, in many ways, went from the smoke into the fire because they went from one war to another. And now these people find themselves, particularly in the South, because most of them emigrated to the southern part of the country where the war is the worst, and particularly in and around Ashkelon, where they're in their apartments, they're between bomb shelters and the apartments to the bomb shelters, and they're very frightened, very scared. They don't know what's going to happen to them. And there's just a tremendous amount of just a lack of hope right now in the lives of these people. And so the Russian Christians in Israel they know where they are. They're putting food packets together. They're knocking on doors. They're blessing people. And these people just can't believe it that all of a sudden the door opens and there they are. These Christians are there helping them both in word and deed. So God is really working in significant ways, and every opportunity, every encounter opens up an opportunity for them to share the gospel with these people.
So, Michael, what are you hearing as being some of the greatest needs that they have right now?
Basically, food, because just the basic necessities of food, because many of them, they can't leave their apartments and because of all the shelling and whatnot. So the first and main priority for them is to just meet their basic needs, but whether it be food or medical help, prescriptions that they need, but also crisis counseling as well, and biblically based crisis counseling for these people so that they can restore hope in their lives. But really, from our standpoint, this represents just this huge open door among almost a third of the population to share the love of Christ with these people and tell them who Jesus is, because 99% of these people never heard the clear story of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it's being told to them through these faithful Russian Christians who are ministering to them both in word and deed.
It's really amazing to think there's so many stories within this huge story of what is happening there.
So, the Lord is faithful, and He has a plan for each and every one of us, and he took me through the wonderful years that I spent in New York City in the advertising business. But now, in doing this, we have wonderful stories to tell about what God is doing through his faithful churches throughout all the countries that we live in.
Michael, is there a way for us to join in with what's going on over there to be in aid to the churches that are reaching out to this population that's reaching out with the gospel and with much needed aid?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Again, because we're connected to this network of Slavic churches from the southern part of Israel to the northern part of Israel, they're actively working to connect with people, whether they be Ukrainian refugees or the broader population, with the gospel and helping them both in word and deed. Because we have the infrastructure set up in Israel to do that, if you can come to our website, which is sga.org/Israel Gospel, you can provide financial support that will go directly to those churches so that they can minister to those people, because there is a huge opportunity right now to spread the gospel throughout Israel. And what I'm told is that the Russian population is the most open to the gospel because most of those people grew up in atheistic homes. And so we're seeing tremendous fruit, and we just want to continue to build on that. And a lot of people are raising money to help because there is a huge humanitarian need, and we need to stand with Israel. And I think there's a lot of political discussion going on about this, but for us, we're a gospel ministry. And when you look at our logo, SGA, and G is the biggest letter, and everything we do is for the advancement of the gospel, whether it be training or orphan ministries or summer camps or compassion ministries. It's all done for the purpose of equipping churches to open up opportunities to share the gospel with the people on the other end.
I love that.
Absolutely tremendous. Michael, thank you very much for everything that you are doing, for the risks that you are taking, both for yourself personally and those that are around you. And thank you for your heart for just doing everything for the gospel. It is an honor to have a few moments to talk with you this morning.
It's been great talking to you. I really appreciate the opportunity.